Hi guys, you are watching and listening to Full Metal Monkey. I'm Grutle Kjellson of Enslaved, and this is
Ivar, Four-Eyed Monkey, Bjørnson.
Cheers.
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 Alright, this is Full Metal Monkey. We're here with Enslaved. Congratulations with another great album. How do you feel the reception has been so far?
Great. It's only been out for a couple of weeks. Very good reviews and very good response from the fans. And so we're only just started playing live, playing those new songs live, and they seem to work really good live. So far, people are a little bit puzzled when we play new songs. Of course, it usually takes a couple of months. So, but they really seem to enjoy it, and lots of comments and applause when we introduce new songs. And we kind of pay more attention to the new songs, more attentive than the old ones, where they might headbang and stuff and get into the songs.
The meaning of and behind the title RIITIIR, I don't even know if I say it correctly.
It's not a real word, so I guess you can make up your own pronunciation. Yeah, it's... How did that come about? We wanted to have the concept of the album to be around the concept of human rights, rituals that seems to be... You know, we're looking for something that's so archaic and so intertwined with, you know, the history of the thinking human. And with our previous albums, it just seemed natural to go into that territory. And then we wanted to make it also truly, not necessarily using the word global, but universal. Because we don't want to limit, you know, our language, our tools for, you know, making our concepts are based around northern mythology and the runes and all that. But we wanted to elevate it in a sense to make it completely universal. And then we figured out that, okay, why not remove it from a specific language? So we took starting point in RIITIIR, which is the
Old Norse.
Added some letters here and there, and so people get an impression of what it is.
Yeah.
But it's not in any language.
Enslavedish.
Enslaved. Well, that sounds interesting.
Enslavedish is a close relative to the famous language gibberish.
Yeah. Something like that.
Cheers. The greatest moments of Enslaved's 21-year-long career. Wow.
You got it right.
Yeah.
There are a couple of highlights, of course. I always mention the first time I hold the first release, the vinyl in 1993. Hold on a Stand, the mini LP. That will always be a moment that I really still cherish, actually.
Yeah.
And the first tour, first gig abroad outside Norway, the first full length, the first trip to the United States, and maybe we had a little reawakening with the release of Below the Lights.
Yeah.
We really started a new path, I would say, back then, and that's one of the highlights.
Yeah.
And you can add someone, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a continuation of what he's saying there. In 2004, I could actually pin it down to a specific day when we were playing at the Inferno Festival, 2004, with the East album. We had signed the deal. It wasn't released then.
No, it wasn't released, but yeah.
But we just signed a deal with Tabler Recordings, a Norwegian label. We had a new lineup. We've been through some turbulent, you know, Spinal Tap-ish years with drummers going in and out, and then we had a really good, solid, stable lineup. We took the stage show to a new level, and the response that we saw that night and the way that we felt about the band was really. It has been, with the release of this album, that moment just becomes bigger for me, because now I see that a lot of what we're experiencing now, the success we're having now, is really springing out from that point.
How do you today look back on the crazy early years of the 90s? I mean, the black metal, extreme metal scene with Euronymous and those days. What's your view on that today?
It was essential for the development of the band. That, you know, the whole, let's say, dynamics of Enslaved being on the outskirts of that movement, I think is incredibly valuable to us. And also, you know, the influence from that scene, the whole do-it-yourself ethos, and the way that, especially, Euronymous and the people around his shop, Helvet, and Death Like Silence Records and all that, that they took Norwegian underground metal to such a new level. I'm thinking, you know, professionally and musically. And then on the other hand, of course, you know, for some years, especially in the 90s, mid-90s, late 90s, I guess we were in the back of the line when foreign festivals, foreign media, even Norwegian media, when they wanted to do coverage of Norwegian metal bands, they always went for the most spectacular and the people who had been in jail and all that. So it left us at the back of the line. Maybe it took us a longer time to get there. But when it turned, when the tide turned, when the music became
important.
Important. And the focal point, that's when we moved to the other end of the line.
People tend to forget that it was not only about arson and murders and stuff like that. It was actually a bunch of very creative band that sounded very different individually. I mean, Immortal didn't sound like anything like Enslaved or Darkthrone, and Mayhem was and Emperor were like completely different sounding band. I mean, different, vast musical inspiration sources. And I mean, this was before the era of the copycats that came later in the 90s. So it's pretty funny nowadays when people try to be old school and try to sound like Darkthrone in '93 or something like that, and they were like born in 1990. So and they're true and old school. But they seem to forget that, or don't know that all these bands we came from the heavy metal scene, we came from the thrash metal scene. We listened to all kinds of shit, you know, classical music, metal, rock, everything. A kind of a diverse sources of inspiration. And as I told you, when we sat at Euronymous' apartment, we could listen to old Sodom demos, we could listen to Diamanda Galas, we could listen to Pink Floyd, even Monroe's from Norway, everything, you know.
Swedish prog.
Swedish prog, I mean,
I think our
very open-minded scene, actually.
Cool.
We have a very different. People are expecting lots of negative words, in a sense, because there's so much negativity connected. For us, it's a golden era. But again, I guess that's because we had that distance where we weren't part of the thing that went overboard.
We didn't kill that many people.
That's great. You see, the reason I brought it up is yesterday I talked to Thomas Seltzer and asked him, give me a good question to ask Enslaved. And he said, why don't you ask Grutle on his opinion on Håvard Rem's book Innfødtes-krig?
Now we're doing the 60 minutes.
I just had a chat with Thomas here the other day about that, and it's a very strange book because it has been, it's based on facts. He's been interviewing people that were not even in the scene. And he ignored all kinds of available information. I mean, you have books that call it Norsk Kriminalkrønike, where all the cases are described, all the witnesses, blah, blah, blah. Things are available in all the newspapers. They have archives. I asked him, did you even see in those archives? The whole book is like based upon his opinion, and it's kind of like reading the Hardy Boys or something like that. You know?
It's fiction.
It's pure fiction and very, very pompous, and in the end, extremely pathetic.
I think that's the problem with a lot of the documentary angle, both in movies and books that has been done about the Norwegian black metal movement. Is I think you either have to go for a strictly documentary thing, and you have to make facts, undisputable facts available, and and let the reader do their concluding, or you have to go completely fictional.
Yeah.
But I think it's a problem because people confuse it with, you know, like this American guy who wanted to make this movie. I don't know if they're doing it about weakness and all that. And when they're saying stuff like, yeah, it's got a story that's as good as a good old Western drama, it's like, it's not. It's actual people playing in actual bands, and most of these people are still alive and living in the actual world.
Yep.
So it's that mix-up. I think it's one of that book, Håvard book, is it's an unfortunate example of mixing.
It's so strange because the facts are there, they are available, and they're not that hard to actually. People can read the facts. I mean, they're easy to find.
It's less than 2 decades ago.
I think it could have been a really great book if he distanced himself completely from facts and just wrote a fictional book. That could have been interesting from make it like a good crime story.
Not really.
Not really. Also, I think we need some more beer, huh? This is from Bjørnson, a local brewery. It's good.
I tried this actually, stout. Yeah.
It's a good one. I recommend it. Style change from the Frost days to the later more progressive records. I mean, what's the?
It was a natural development in the sense that we were going down a certain path, I guess. Frost. It has to be fair.
Yeah. I got more.
From the Frost and the L days, and then I guess with Blueham that we took it all the way.
Yeah.
Going as far as I guess we could with the black metal sound, and then we had to make, I guess, a choice. We could have we were feeling okay, we're in the corner, and for some bands, being in the corner is great. You know,
that's why has been in the corner for.
That's what we need. That's why we love Motörhead. You know, you get a new album from Motörhead, and you expect a little bit of a twist on the same riffs, and that's completely great. But for us, we felt that to keep the motivation up, let's not be one of those bands. And then we went on to do Mardrøm, and it just felt right. I can't remember if we really verbalized it and talked about it, but at least I think it's the feeling we had that some people were going to react negatively.
Yeah.
And we were going to lose some fans, but
we basically decided to, hey, let's go nuts. You know?
Yeah.
Cool.
And then we went a little too nuts on One Invention.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed some of the songs, but I mean, for us, it's too many loose ends. Too much,
A little bit too much enthusiasm, I guess.
Enthusiasm and taking inspiration from too many places, maybe. Too many new territories. So we kind of...
But after Mardrøm, the positive response. that was the most solid confirmation that we have done the right thing.
Uh-huh.
So of course you met some people. I remember meeting this black metal lady in a paint shop in Bergen, of all places.
Black metal lady.
Yeah, and she was really offended, you know, like we had said something horrible about her family or something. The new style is horrible, and I'm never going to listen to you again. I'm like, okay.
Was that the lady that walked like this?
I can't remember how she walked, to be honest.
What more can you do? Okay.
It looked like she had rubber legs.
Oh.
Rubber-legged black metal woman.
Okay.
Cool.
Yep.
Might have been her.
Let's talk a bit about beer. I mean, I've been reading some of your tour blogs, and I was wondering, what's your best beer experience in America?
Ooh. I think maybe remember that place in Spokane?
Yeah.
Spokane. That is in Washington.
Yeah.
Or Oregon. I think it's in Washington.
Uh-huh.
Microbrewery, and they have seen those sample trays with like I think it was like 8 different ones.
It's like an ore.
Yeah, like an ore with holes in it.
Yeah.
Beer samples, and
I think it's called a flight.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
There you go.
There was like Alaskan beer, Alaskan red beer, and brown ale, and that was fantastic. And the only thing they can't do properly in the States is Weissbier or Witbier. They just, I don't know why, but everything else is excellent. But those Belgian style of Witbier or German Weissbier, nah.
Americans tend to make their own versions of the Belgian beer, not.
Yeah.
Mine would be.
Their pale ale is really good.
Yeah.
I love American pale ale.
Mine would be a visit to these guys,
Sierra Nevada,
with Vicky, our merchandise manager. We actually went there because her dad, a retired guy, he's collecting beers.
Yeah.
He's a big enthusiast. So he called her up in the morning and said, "I see you are in." I can't remember the name of the town in California.
Is her dad retarded?
What is it?
You said Borat.
I said retired. I hope I said retired.
You said retired.
You did.
Chico, of course.
Chico, California.
So he sent her the address, and we got in a taxi, and we got there. There were 2 of us, and there were 3 girls on the Sierra Nevada sightseeing team. Nobody else. And they took us around the entire factory. And then I noticed, like, all the guys working there. I told them, this is fucking great. They all look like me. They all had the stomachs were a little bit too big. They all had long beards. Some had long hair, and they were all like just working. And then we looked outside on this like big glass wall, and you could see their own fields where they're growing their hops and stuff. And we came pretty close to sort of a religious feeling there.
Yeah.
And he came back completely shit-faced.
Yeah, of course.
We played like an ass. Same you now did.
I was pretty shit-faced.
Yeah, you were pretty shit-faced. It was so cool!
I bought the big sampler. And it was like 16 small glasses that weren't that small. And they served chicken wings and onions.
His favorites, yeah.
Oh yes,
Nice.
onion rings, and they were all like prepared with different beers and stuff.
Cool.
So, but it was actually the gig was okay because of lots of coffee.
I was just kidding. Yeah. Cool. We went to Sam Adams too.
That was also
last
amazing.
year. That was great.
Tried Utopia?
We tasted the malt and we tasted the hops. Okay.
And we took part in a survey, whatever.
Yeah.
Having two new brands that they were going to have them compete against each other.
Yeah.
So all the visitors tasted both, and like a blind test, and then I can't remember which one won, but I got the mail afterwards.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was it the one that we voted for?
The dark one.
Winning.
Dark with the chocolate taste or something like that. Yeah. Pretty
Great.
cool. Like a chocolate porter or something like that.
Your views on the Norwegian Pilsner and the beer culture in Norway?
Norwegian Pilsner, it's okay. It's like a summer beer, you know, very very light. There are a couple of good ones actually. You have Ås, which is pretty good. Hansa is okay. CB is okay.
Ringnes is pretty horrible.
Yeah. Mack is pretty horrible.
Yeah. But I think a lot of things changed in Norway. You asked about the Pilsner, but I think for me at least, a lot changed with Nøgne. They're sort of
kind of
heroes.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
I can't help when there's a Nøgne van driving past.
Yeah.
We always have to
cheer
for them. They lifted the Norwegian beer life.
Yeah, I agree. They just had a 10 years birthday.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So congratulations, Nøgne.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
The best beer in Norway.
They do. They are actually.
Oh yeah.
Which brings me to the next question though, which is what's your favorite brews from Norway?
We like RIITIIR.
Yeah.
Larvik. Chin. Very good. Have you tried it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
The West Coast.
Yeah.
Oh,
great.
IPA, it's awesome.
Fantastic.
I want it right now.
And big bottles.
Yeah.
I would say the captain from Nagna, the soup.
Two captains?
Yeah.
The IPA is
Amazing,
really
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Too.
it's awesome.
Oh yeah, and the bitter.
And a bit.
And yeah.
So much.
Yes, so much.
I interviewed Kjellson from Nøgna not long ago, and he said we only make one beer out of each type, but IPA we have 10 different sorts.
Yeah, right.
We always wanted to make a EPA, Enslaved Pale Ale.
Yeah, do it, man.
Yeah, we should.
Do it. What's your alcohol limit before you go on stage? I mean, if you enjoy stuff, there's still a limit, you know.
Somewhere between hammered and shit-faced. Nah, I mean, what do you call it? A slight
The
tickling?
buzz.
Yeah.
The buzz.
The buzz, yeah. So,
That's
I mean,
totally
it's
fine.
a little bit fussed, but still focused.
Cool.
So that really, yeah, a couple of cognacs and 4 or 5 beers maybe.
Yeah. It's. I think there's different ways of relating to alcohol. I'm not gonna say that you should drink alcohol just for the taste, because that's childish.
You like the effect too.
I like the effect too, but I think
Everybody does.
I think if
It's to relax a bit, you know.
yeah, what you're looking for me, alcohol is not a means of escape or numbing. I think that goes for us all. I would claim that we have. Some people are going to think that this is the pinnacle of irony, but Enslaved has more or less a healthy alcohol culture, I think. Because, yeah, he thought it was the pinnacle of irony.
I was following you, man.
We do it to have fun, and
Yeah.
we do it to relax, and we have a culture around it. It's not to get away from anything. If I had the feeling that I needed to down a certain amount of alcohol before going on stage, like some young artists are describing these days, that they feel the pressure to be, obliterated before they go on stage, then I totally agree that a discussion around music and alcohol is valid. But
Actually, we drink a lot more now than we did 20 years ago.
yeah, now we sound better.
Yeah, and we did,
Yeah. Cool.
Actually, it's true.
To one-time use time machine only, and you can take your band back in time and play one gig, where would you go and why?
Play sport for Beethoven.
That's a new one. That's a new one.
Drink his wine while he's on stage.
Robert's backstage.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't have to go back to that much, I guess. Picture yourself being in an opening act for, let's say, Led Zeppelin or Rush in the 70s, even Pink Floyd. That would be something.
I'm thinking 70s, maybe on the other end of the scale from the big ones, but like the London scene in the early 70s, when people were seeing Jimi Hendrix and Pink Floyd and all these guys. And
King Crimson.
King Crimson. And we'd be one of those bands that people would mention now that
played with some bands from the Canterbury scene or something like that, some of those festivals, or even in Italy,
Cool.
progressive rock scene there in the 70s.
But I like the Beethoven idea.
Yeah, I like that too, man.
Yeah.
I like that too. If you could change one thing about the world today, something that you would want to be different.
Closed down internet.
close down internet.
Yeah, so we don't have to download that much shit. The next thing is cow or horse, you know.
Elephant.
Raising the bar.
Never stop. You know? I mean, actually, I'm a little bit serious about it. Of course, I mean, not only going to close down the internet, but I mean, 20 years ago, we were like pen pals. We got fanzines in the mail, and we had a totally different relationship to music. And it was Christmas Eve when we received a demo tape from, let's say, Czechoslovakia or anything like that, or the States or whatever, and listened to new music. And I called it, I have to listen to this. Next rehearsal, this new band from Czech Republic called RIITIIR or Master's Hammer or something like that.
Awesome.
It's something I've never heard before. And now it's like just like click, 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 click. People listen to it. Yeah, and they just delete the file from the computer, and that's not a healthy relationship towards music.
Loses value.
It loses value completely, and that's sad.
But I'm gonna, go in a little bit different direction, but starting from the internet point of view, because I just realized, seeing cases from other places, that you have young people killing themselves from being bullied on the internet and all that. So, but not necessarily internet. Just thinking about bullying when people grow up, that they're facing. In our time, okay, if you were bullied or picked on or whatever, in most cases it would solve itself, or you would feel annoyed, or maybe you didn't want to go to school that day. But now we're coming to a level where things are so empty and nihilistic that 13, 14-year-old people with fantastic abilities and everything, they actually prefer to kill themselves instead of being picked on. So I think we should reinstate the concept of consequence. That's what I would like to do. That now it's all talk about we shouldn't do this and that, but I wish the world was a place where you could actually...
We write about such matters,
Yeah.
So you should buy the album and read the lyrics,
This is cool. Craziest shit went down in Enslaved history.
I think the craziest, what I'm thinking now, is maybe Mexico, when there was a bunch of Bjørnson right-wing fans in the room. There was many people at the concert, but this was a group of 20, 30 or something?
Yeah, something like that.
And they were still standing there after the show, because obviously Grutle, he had to sort of mention, the main thing wasn't what kind of music they were liking, but they were being right-wing and doing Nazi salutes and all that. So, of course, Mr. Hot Temper here had to mention to them the irony of them, in Mexico, fighting for a political ideology that had one of the first political things they would do was to exterminate them.
Yeah,
great point of view.
So, and
feel the irony,
they didn't like that, and we were sitting in the backstage, and there's all these people outside, and I was 17, he's 21, and the drummer around the same, and we're figuring what to do. And I think we actually took a pretty good solution that is pretty symbolic of how Enslaved works. We ended up running out of the backstage screaming towards them, and they turned around and ran. I guess they figured out, like, if they're that fucked up, it's not worth it. So that's pretty crazy. And they even paid to get in there. It's like, fantastic.
I hate those people. Biggest Spinal Tap moment?
Oh man, now you're asking a difficult question.
Oh, we're talking.
You just mention one that's fun.
We should release like a 20-book catalog of Enslaved Spinal Tap moments. Can I do mine first?
Yeah, sure.
It's we saw the video that got released in '98 from a DVD. We were on this tour in '97, the end of '97, during the World Domination. It was called.
That's one.
Bands on Osmos Productions, where we released our 6 albums in the beginning there. And then we saw this very strange thing, that we're sitting in the backstage, and it's a good atmosphere and everything. And then you see on the movie, you see him actually with the Viking helmet.
Backstage before the gig.
Having some soda or beer or whatever. And next clip, you see us, then we walk towards the door. The next clip, we come out the door on the other side, without the helmet. So what didn't get caught on tape was that we actually had a discussion, should we use the helmet? No, let's drop it. But on the video it looks like this is how we dress off stage.
So let's go on stage. There we go. Off to work.
And looks pretty amazing, I think.
We recorded a couple of albums in Sweden, in the Abyss studios with Kjellson. And the first time it was the recording of Blue Heaven. Some of us in the band started to fight, and we trashed parts of the studio, hitting holes in the wall, and we had to repair it and paint. And it was some sort of a violent drinking riot, so to speak. And he was really pissed. Peter was really, really pissed. A couple of years later, we came back and recorded Mardrøm, and nothing happened. I mean, we acted like civilized people.
But he was very clear that if we did anything like that again.
So he was like, don't do it. I was going to throw you out of the studio. So okay. We were like, okay. We were acting like civilized human beings for
many weeks.
3 weeks.
Cool.
The last day after the mix, actually. In the evening, Peter was standing on his stairs to his house, having a cigarette, and we had a little house, like, I don't know, 50 meters away from his house that we hired, or actually it was Peter's, so he lended it out to us when, or the band's while they were recording and stuff. And Peter was like having a cigarette, and was like, Enslaved has been here for 3 weeks, and nothing has happened. Oh, this is so smooth. This is, oh yeah. And the last hit of the cigarette, he just like glimpsed a little bit towards the window of the apartment, and he saw Roy, a former guitar player, standing with a chair over his head. And threw it on the wall, and was like, I'm so disappointed.
So where does the road go from here? I mean,
home, actually.
Home? Yeah.
This is we have a couple of more gigs in Norway. This is the next one is Stord next Friday, and Haugesund on a Saturday. After that, we are having a little trip to the United States. 10th of November, we're going to play in California, LA, at the Roadburn show. And after that, that's the last gig.
Barge to Hell.
Barge to Hell, the metal cruise.
Cool. Oh,
the metal cruise from
cruise boat.
Cruise boat from Miami to Bahamas.
Yeah.
Couple of gigs, one gig to Bahamas and one gig on the way back. Yeah.
Then it's 1.5 months or something off. End of January we start touring the US.
Yeah.
US and Canada. A few days off. Europe in March. And then there's some more stuff that's about to be announced. That's happening after that. We're going to be traveling a lot.
Well, again, congratulations with a new album. It's great, and thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
And good luck on the tour.
Thanks.
Tusen takk.